They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
Let's dive into one of the most talked about moments from the world of daytime television and politics that has everyone buzzing. Picture this, a heated, no-holds-barred showdown on The View that has left viewers shaking their heads, social media in an uproar, and Joy Behar squarely at the center of yet another controversy. If you thought the drama on reality TV was intense, wait until you hear what went down during this fiery segment. Grab your popcorn because this one is packed with tension, clapbacks, and a whole lot of hypocrisy being called out.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I was stunned and amazed by his new White House spokeswoman today. She's actually the youngest ever in that job.
So, let's start with the spark that lit this firestorm. Joy Behar, never one to shy away from making a bold and sometimes reckless statement, unleashed what many are calling a blatantly inappropriate jab at the newly minted White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. Now, Leavitt, at just 27 years old, has already made history as the youngest person to take on this role. But instead of focusing on her qualifications, Behar decided to zero in on something completely unrelated to her abilities. Her appearance. Yes, you heard that right. During the broadcast, Behar dismissed Leavitt's historic appointment by saying he's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is. Cue the collective gasp. Not only was this comment completely unwarranted, but it also struck a nerve with viewers who expect more from a show that claims to champion women's empowerment. What made this even more startling was the glaring double standard on display. Imagine if someone from a conservative platform had made a similar remark about a liberal woman in a leadership role. There would have been outrage from every corner of the media. But here, Behar's blatant reduction of Leavitt's achievements to her looks has left many questioning whether The View truly supports women or just women who align with its political views.
Karoline Leavitt, she's just 27 years old. But boy, was she giving it to the Trump haters in her first White House briefing.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. What really set this segment on fire was Karoline Leavitt's response, or rather, the way she handled the entire situation with poise and grace. While Behar's comment might have been meant to rattle her, Leavitt didn't just brush it off. Oh no, she turned the tables in a way that had viewers cheering. Without missing a beat, Leavitt used the moment to highlight the hypocrisy of shows like The View, which claim to stand for equality, but often belittle conservative women with personal attacks instead of engaging in meaningful debate. They love to talk about empowering women, she reportedly said, but the moment a woman disagrees with their politics, they tear her down in the same way they claim to oppose.
Dang, Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail.
And if you think the tension ended there, think again. Whoopi Goldberg, clearly rattled by Leavitt's composure, jumped in to steer the conversation in a different direction. But Leavitt wasn't having it. No, please, she interrupted Goldberg firmly. Let's stay on topic. That moment right there, that was the mic drop. In one sentence, Leavitt managed to maintain control of the discussion while exposing how The View often manipulates narratives to serve its own agenda. Viewers couldn't get enough of her standing her ground against what many saw as an unfair and biased attack.
Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
Now, let's talk about Whoopi Goldberg's role in this debacle. She wasn't just a bystander in the drama. She threw herself right into the middle of it. As the conversation heated up, Goldberg went on a passionate rant about wokeness, defending the very concept that Leavitt had criticized during her first press briefing. Goldberg argued that wokeness was the reason women like Leavitt even had opportunities in politics today, saying, the reason we fought and busted our behinds was to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. While her point about historical struggles for equality may have been valid, Goldberg's tone came across as condescending, as if Leavitt didn't understand the very history she was referencing.
Without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
But here's where the irony really ramps up. Goldberg's passionate defense of wokeness came across as tone-deaf to many viewers, especially when juxtaposed with Joy Behar's earlier comment. How can you claim to fight for women's empowerment on one hand, but stand by while your co-host reduces a woman's entire career to her physical appearance on the other? This blatant contradiction wasn't lost on audiences, who flooded social media with calls for accountability. One fan on X wrote, Whoopi defends wokeness, but doesn't call out Joy's comment? The hypocrisy is unreal. Another echoed the sentiment, saying they keep preaching equality, but it's selective equality. It's only for women, they agree with.
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
What's even more puzzling is how Goldberg seemed to miss an opportunity to engage in an actual dialogue about the evolution of wokeness as a concept. For many, wokeness began as a call for social awareness and justice, but it's since morphed into a deeply polarizing term. Instead of acknowledging the complexity of the issue, Goldberg's rant felt more like a lecture, alienating even those who might have otherwise agreed with her points. It's hard to have a meaningful conversation when one side is speaking down to the other, and that's exactly what this moment felt like for many viewers. Meanwhile, Leavitt's ability to stay calm and focused during this exchange only strengthened her position. Rather than getting drawn into the emotional whirlwind, she used Goldberg's remarks as yet another opportunity to highlight the disconnect between The View and everyday Americans. By calmly pointing out how terms like wokeness have become divisive rather than unifying, Leavitt managed to reframe the argument entirely. Her approach resonated with viewers who are tired of the finger-pointing and just want to see real issues addressed. As one commenter put it, she's not just talking, she's making sense. That's what we need more of in politics.
Karoline Leavitt is the press secretary at the White House, doing a great job. Such a great job that the ladies of The View feel the green monster coming upon them.
But here's the kicker. Goldberg's rant completely ignored the fact that wokeness has evolved into a divisive ideology for many Americans. Instead of engaging in a nuanced discussion about what wokeness means today, Goldberg doubled down in a way that made her appear dismissive and out of touch. This, of course, only added fuel to the fire, with critics pointing out that her approach exemplified the elitist attitude that so many people have grown frustrated with. Meanwhile, the backlash against Behar and Goldberg wasn't just limited to the studio. Social media absolutely exploded. Within hours, clips of the exchange were trending across every platform imaginable. Comments poured in from viewers who were outraged by what they saw as blatant hypocrisy. One user on X summed it up perfectly. All the View people need to go. These women are doing nothing to show respect for women. Another chimed in, this girl's got backbone and she's not afraid to take on the big dogs. I like her, very intelligent and well-spoken. These comments weren't just isolated opinions. They represented a broader frustration with mainstream media's treatment of conservative women.
But even factoring in that she's a nice-looking lady, I love that the Liv's attacks on conservatives right now are that we're hot and cool.
But let's not forget about the broader implications here. What this controversy really highlights is a recurring pattern in the media. Conservative women are often dismissed, insulted, or ridiculed simply because of their political beliefs. From Kayleigh McEnany to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, we've seen this play out time and time again. Shows like The View claim to stand for equality and empowerment, yet they seem to have no problem tearing down women who don't fit into their ideological mold. And the audience is noticing. Even within the industry, there's growing discontent. Insiders at ABC are reportedly frustrated with Joy Behar's repeated controversies. According to sources, network executives are beginning to question whether Behar's presence on The View is worth the ongoing public relations headaches. And it's not just about this incident. Ratings for the show have been slipping, and advertisers are reportedly uneasy about being associated with such divisive rhetoric. Could this mean Behar's time on The View is coming to an end? Only time will tell, but the whispers of a potential shakeup are growing louder.
No. It's not. So first of all, and I have had my objections to the job that Karine Jean-Pierre did, but she worked in politics for 21 years, 5 presidential campaigns, and worked in 2 administrations.
Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt is walking away from this stronger than ever. In her first week as press secretary, she's already made significant changes to how the White House interacts with the media, including opening up access to independent journalists and new media voices. Her approach has been praised for bringing transparency and inclusivity to the briefing room, a stark contrast to the personal attacks she's faced from shows like The View. And let's not forget, she's only 27. If she's handling herself this well now, imagine where she'll be in a few years. So here's the big question. Is this controversy a turning point for The View? Will they finally take a hard look at their own biases and double standards? Or will they continue down the same path, alienating viewers and losing credibility? And what does this mean for the larger conversation about how we treat women in politics, regardless of their ideology? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. See you next time.